I was absolutely thrilled, but also kind of humbled as well, because this is work that I've done with many people. You know, I've worked with all sorts of people over the years, relied on other people to do things, shared things with other people, and then to sort of be singled out as someone, you know, that they felt was worthy of the award. I mean, well, it's wonderful because, you know, I've been working on chemical weapons related issues for 40 years now. My job really, as an academic, I've been an academic, a toxicologist doing standard laboratory related work on the effects of chemicals on health. But I've looked at the effects of chemical weapons, so I know them well. I know it from an academic point of view. I've seen many victims who've been exposed to mustard gas. But at the same time, when I was seeing this, I was campaigning for a treaty like the Chemical Weapons Convention. So we were criticizing those governments who wanted to rearm and modernize their stockpiles. We were trying to urge others to be transparent because there were some countries that wouldn't say what they had by way of chemical stockpiles. So as far as the world was concerned, they didn't have any, but we knew they had huge quantities. And so it was this kind of advocacy work, you know, that I was doing at the same time as being a standard academic that made my career interesting. So most academics don't move into the advocacy sort of arena, but, you know, I did for a time. I still do it, I suppose, really, talking about the convention, which I think is a fantastic treaty. And I think you need to be an advocate for it. So I'm hoping that, you know, chemical weapons destruction and removal, if you like, may be a way for governments to think they can do this with other types of weapons in the future. One can live in hope.
I have devoted all my life over the past 33 years for this patient. So I have done as much as I could over the past, and I will do that again. Even I will use nearly all of this, my award, for better health of this patient, either provide medication or other facilities for their life. My first priority is to treat the patients, but my second priority was teaching and research. So I made a questionnaire, a form, and I asked my colleagues to fill out the forms. So all clinical findings were recorded. And then some of my students, particularly in pharmacy school, they were interested. So I employed my pharmacy student and PhD student to do the experimental research on animals to find the antidotes for sulfur mustard. There was no antidote. Still, there is no effective antidote. But my pharmacy students, they did a lot of research under my supervision on the experimental side. And my medical students and medical residents, they were working in clinical side. And then we made a team of different specialties. Hematology, immunology, pulmonology, dermatology, ophthalmology, psychiatry. And we worked very hard in a teamwork. So we achieved a lot. Firstly, we reported for the first time the immune toxicity in this patient, because sulfur mustard was used during the World War I. and a lot of papers were published. In Edinburgh University, I had access to those published papers, so I had written a lot about, and then I had the background and at least the experience how to treat this patient. And then, so during the treatment time, although it was so heavy, I was teaching and doing research as well. So I've made a lot of publication, a lot of papers published in International Medical Journal in English and some in the local journal in Persian. The guideline we made in OPCW is a practical guideline for the medical management of chemical war casualties. Is in fact the first practical guideline for the treatment of chemical war gas victim, not only at the acute phase, acute intoxication, but also for the long-term complications of sulfur mustard poisoning and the nerve agent. So I'm sure the medical practitioners will enjoy this book.